Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I am playing the beta for Jak 3 on PC. And if you're not familiar, there is a project called OpenGOAL which brought over the original Jak and Daxter as well as Jak 2 as PC ports, and that's some big decomp energy. And hilarious, the developers of OpenGOAL released the beta of Jak 3, the PC port, yesterday on April Fool's Day, and basically almost the entire internet didn't believe it happened in any way, shape, or form, and honestly, I don't blame them. But I am here to tell you right now, if you want to play Jak 3 as a PC port on your PC with enhanced graphics and a ton of quality of life improvements, you can 100% do that today. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, releasing the beta for this on April Fool's is absolutely hilarious. Jak 3 is a ton of fun with a ton of fun characters, a lot of story, and even though it was aimed more towards a younger audience, at least in the design, you can tell that one of the actual modelers here had a very big affinity for very big assets, for lack of a better term, on some of the models in that cutscene. But as we actually get into the gameplay, I know this isn't beta, but honestly, I didn't have any single issue playing this whatsoever. I'm sure if you are a Jak 3 fanatic, if you're a speedrunner, you might notice something in here that isn't doing 100% of what the PlayStation 2 version of the game would do. But for me personally, someone who hasn't played this game since it was basically like a year or so past new, I can't see anything in this footage whatsoever that makes me think it isn't doing exactly what it needs to do. Because of course you are on PC, you're going to get a ton of new improved features as well. You're going to be able to dial in a frame rate, even lock it into your monitor's refresh rate if you so wish. And of course 16:9 support with a ton of graphical enhancements is in the internal rendering resolution side in and of itself. And that again is absolutely amazing. Going from the PlayStation 2 version to a PC port is night and day different and makes this game a ton more fun in my opinion. If you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, have you ever played Jak or Jak 2 in OpenGOAL? I would be curious. And it isn't just that these are PC ports, there are a metric ton of mods that you can install for at least the first two games. Didn't really see any mods for 3, but of course when I captured this it was all of about 2 hours old. But if you actually go into the OpenGOAL launcher, you will see a ton of different modifications you can install to the games to kind of make them whatever you want. From just quality of life improvements to overall almost reskins, making it feel like a completely different game. And do go into OpenGOAL and make sure that you update it when it asks you to update, or you're not going to be able to actually install Jak 3. But in my experience with this game, playing around with it for a few hours, even further than I'm showing you in the capture, so if you haven't played the game you can discover it yourself, I will say this is absolutely stunning work, and I want to use the word flawless, but again, I am not familiar enough with Jak 3, as it has been a very long time since I played it to say whether or not that is the case. But if I can't find any glaring bugs or issues, I would say the general audience playing this thing is going to have the exact same experience. And because this is a quasi-open world game, getting better performance here is just going to make a big difference, because I would say this is one of the prettier PlayStation 2 games ever made. Let's do an early soundtrack sample with some voiceover and I'll be right back.
Check out these funny dudes, huh? Nice threads. I didn't know rubber was back in. What are you working on, monk boy?
It is none of your concern, animal.
Look, coloring book, we've had a hard week. Don't push it.
The arena shows all, Dark One. Hate consumes your eyes.
Great. Thanks for the tip.
It will destroy you, just as these precursors destroyed themselves.
It doesn't look like any precursor crap we've seen.
These artifacts are an abomination. One fell on the great volcano. We sent an expedition to the mountain, but my monks never returned. Ill tidings sing in the wind. I fear the remaking of the world is at hand.
I think you've been out in the sun a little too long. Let's go, Jak.
You must leave this place. Heroes think they can save the world when they themselves are lost. You could not possibly understand the dark forces at work here.
Don't talk to me about dark powers. I want to know what this is. Stand back.
I mean, if there's any issue whatsoever with the audio rendering, I cannot hear it with my ears. The voiceover, the soundtrack, and the sound effects all sound perfect, and the only reason I am showing you this quasi-QuickTime event here is to talk about how the controls feel, because Jak 3 definitely had some of these kind of Shenmue feeling. Hit the icon when it goes through the circle, almost like Parappa the Rapper in a Jak 3 game. If there was any latency in the controls, this isn't the hardest sequence at all, but you would definitely feel it as far as interacting with the game as a PC port. Honestly, no issues whatsoever. There was maybe a weird frame between that transition there, but I'd have to go back and actually check the original game to see if it's there or not. It is maybe the only thing I noticed out of the entirety of this capture, leading me to believe that this thing is going to go from beta to finish, hopefully pretty soon. But again, I have talked to a few people that played this this last night, and they basically got like halfway through the game and said that they really hadn't encountered any game-breaking bugs or issues. You're able to save and come back, so really, if you want to start playing Jak 3 on your PC, you could do that today. And I will say, as a PC port, this game absolutely excels. It looks stunning in a higher internal rendering resolution, and all of the characters have so much charm and personality and really fun facial expressions. It just absolutely excels when you're playing this thing in a better, more enhanced version. And I usually play on my 65-inch 4K OLED with an HDMI cable from my computer and then capture via OBS. And I will say all of the colors here, because Jak 3 is definitely a colorful game, looks stunning on my OLED, and it really feels more like a PlayStation 3 game through and through than anything that came out on PlayStation 2. And honestly, I feel like that's a really good thing, because not only is it a compliment to the OpenGOAL developers, but also I talk about this a lot on the channel recently. This is why retro gaming is making a comeback, especially with more modern audiences. I like to say, if I gave my nephew something like Jak 2 or Jak 3 on PlayStation 2, and he does love 3D platformers, he might look at it and think it's a little bit antiquated. If I sat him down at my computer and let him actually play this game, he would absolutely think it was a modern release or pretty close. And you can skip the cutscenes, everything loads in. That was intentional, just to show you guys that you can kind of navigate around the game in the same manner you would on real hardware. But again, if this thing came out next week, people would say, well, maybe the graphics are a little rudimentary, but otherwise it was an absolutely amazing game, ton of fun to play, and it would get good reviews. And that's how you know a game holds up in its overall design philosophy as well as aesthetic. If you could say to yourself, if you just improved the graphics, it would be every bit as fun in 2026 as it was in its release year. And you can absolutely 100% say that about Jak 3. And again, as far as the overall input is concerned here, if you miss a jump, if you have an issue, it's because you just pressed the button at the wrong time. I really don't feel any latency in the controls whatsoever. It just worked the way I would expect it to. But again, it has been a very long time since I actually played this game, but I remember having fun with it back in the day. Now that it is available as a PC port, I'm definitely going to get another run in. It might take me 6 months to finish because I have less and less time every single week, but it's one of those things, definitely want to take a look at it. But again, we're going to do a second soundtrack sample here of the music as well as the voiceover dialogue in the game, and I'll be right back with some more Jak 3.
Right. Good plan, Jak. A nap would be nice. Just a teensy little rest.
This bird is overcooked. The bells.
Report!
It's bad. The city's become a battlefield. Mechanized death bots have taken the industrial section, and the surviving metalheads have expanded their hold on the west side. We're losing ground on all fronts.
The council's meeting tonight in emergency session. Rumblings about you, Jak. It doesn't look good. They think your friendship with Crew helped the metalheads get into the city.
I mean, honestly, all the audio sounds perfect to my ears, but you have a lot more ears than I do, so you leave a comment down below and you tell me how it sounds, because I always like to mention in videos, I have absolutely a tin ear, and I am tone deaf as tone deaf can be, so if there is any issue, sometimes I just don't really hear it. But honestly, these locked off cut sequences here happening in engine are a great test as far as how the overall PC port is performing, because this is really where the developers at Naughty Dog put in all of the overall graphical effects. They pulled out all the stops, and it came to just making this game look as pretty as it possibly could. And again, it seems like this. Maybe the geometry is not as complex as a PlayStation 3 game, but this absolutely looks like something that could have been a launch day PS3 title through and through, and it would have absolutely been one of the best launch games out there. And this is why I keep talking about big decomp energy. We have so many decomps, recomps, and PC ports right now, and even though they launched it on April 1st and absolutely nobody believed it, and I totally get why they wouldn't, OpenGOAL now has support in beta for Jak 3, and that is a ton of fun. And it really is just a fun game that I feel like I'm going to get a chance to rediscover after I played it for the first time back in the PlayStation 2 era. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, did you enjoy Jak and Daxter back in the day, or was it one of those franchises you kind of skip by? Because I hear a lot of people mention it, but not as much as some of the other franchises from the PlayStation 2 era. And in the open world driving sequences here, everything again feels exactly as it should, which is to say the driving physics in this game always felt a little bit loose and sloppy, but of course you are on sand, so I'm sure that is by design. But if this thing is in beta, which it is, I'd have no idea what they're going to improve in recent releases. It's one of those things, I'm sure there's a couple of glitches here and there, a couple of weird bugs that I just haven't encountered yet, and I'm sure they just put it out in beta to get a bunch of community testing in, because once thousands upon thousands of people start playing something that only a handful of people worked on, that's when you start realizing that there are bugs, because when you spend so much time on a project, a lot of times you get blindness to it and you can't see the glaring issues that are right in front of your face. Happens all the time as a film editor. I might just not notice something until I walk away and come back 8 hours later and I wonder to myself, how did I not see that issue in a cut right in front of me? You just kind of go blind to the overall issue. But this is so much fun, and I can't wait to see what the OpenGOAL team does next. So if you want to play this one, the link is in the description below to the launcher. You have to bring your own illegally owned game. But I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Bye-bye.